We're doing a solar survey and an EICR here at this bungalow in Silverstone. Let's show you what it's all about. Reuben today has a challenge. The challenge is to try to predict what kind of issues we've got behind the covers of the various light sockets and switches, and to do a visual inspection, see if you can spot anything instantly that is not right. We'll see if Reuben's up to the challenge. If you like our videos, make sure you hit a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get into it. First things first, what tools do we need for an EICR?
Well, tester.
Yep.
Screwdrivers. That's about it, to be honest. iPad maybe.
iPad's a good shout. I've got my Mega in here. Hand tools, step ladders. John says that these steps are older than you, Reuben.
Yep. They are, unfortunately.
So, Reuben, first things first, where do we start with an EICR?
Just visually checking everything, like the board and whatnot.
Yeah, visual check first, really important. Where would we start with the visual check?
In my mind, I would check the board first.
Board is a good place to start. Even before that, what might you check?
Meter cupboard?
Meter cupboard. Let's go and have a look at that first. Have you got a meter box key?
I do not.
I will hand you my honorary meter box key.
Oh, it's snapped.
So the first fail on this EICR is a broken meter box. That is tricky, isn't it? Because they've... Look. Oh, what? You get around it by the fact that...
Yeah, that doesn't help.
It wasn't shut properly, at least.
Yeah.
So first things first, Reuben, what details would you want to be taking down when you're checking the meter box?
Size of the fuse.
Excellent.
Size of the tails.
Yep, so
Make
what's...
sure this is the earthing system.
Perfect, yeah. So what is the main cutout fuse size?
100 amps, well, apparently.
Good, yeah. What is the earthing system?
PME.
Okay, so that would be otherwise known as...
TNCS.
Yeah! Fantastic. And the main tails size?
They look, to my eyes, 25.
Boy, he's doing good. He's got the good eye already. Fantastic. Okay, yeah, great. And what size is the main earth?
That's 16, isn't it?
That is 16, yeah. Can't believe you broke the meter box, Reuben. You break it, you buy it. While we're out here, let's check something else. What should we check?
See if there's bonding to the gas.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Look at that. Pretty good connection as well.
So does that look good to you?
Yep.
Yeah. If you were doing that bonding connection, what would you improve on?
I mean, I'd probably use a lug.
Yep. Anything else that you might improve on?
Well, I'd probably tidy this up a bit. But
yeah, it's just a bit of a tight bend on that, isn't it? If you look at the bend radius on that, it's probably a little bit too tight. So I would do a nice smooth loop of cable. In general, it looks pretty good.
Nice.
Okay, let's go to the consumer unit.
I always do this because my initials are RR. I've written R, and even though I know I've written down my initials, it tricks me every time. I think, oh right, and then put it on as my left every time. It's a 50-50 and somehow it's always the wrong way. So I was home taught, I don't know my left or right.
So I'm going to let you check the consumer unit.
Right.
Have a look at it, tell me what you think what issues we might have with this consumer unit potentially.
Looks like there's a big gap at the top. I see the protection on some of it, but the other half is just MCBs. I mean, it's plastic, but that would have been fine for its time.
What brand is the consumer unit?
10B.
Okay, 10B. What brand are the breakers inside?
A mix of a few, Legrand and Malmbergs.
So, is it okay to put Legrand MCBs in a 10B consumer unit?
I'm not sure actually, probably not. What is it?
It's an interesting one, this, because basically the 10B and Legrand is the same brand.
Right.
But they just changed the name at some point. So actually the Legrand breakers that are in there are fine. The main switch, RCD, and this MCB is fine. But these Malmbergs, I've never heard of those before. Let us know, guys, in the comments, where do Malmbergs MCBs come from, who make them, but those are probably not type tested to be in a Legrand/10B consumer unit. You can actually see that they don't line up properly, so they've kind of forced the lid down. So go around, have a little look, see if you can find anything that you think could be potentially dodgy.
Yeah.
And then we can particularly focus on that, yeah?
Nice. These will have to check that they've got enough to a lot of downlights. You reckon levers here? We'll get the one lead on this. Make sure that it's either class 2 or that it's earthed. Yeah. Got some basic insulation showing just below there. That flex. And look at that, that's not good, is it? Take a picture of that and note that down.
So you may wonder why we check 20% visually as part of our sampling rate. Now, to be honest, as electricians, you can choose what your sampling rate is. We feel that 20% is a good average, that if you take off 20% of the accessories, you're going to get a good impression for what the general condition of the electrical installation is. But that is 20% as a minimum, so we may well increase that if we start to find dodgy things, or if we see like there's a massive variety in what we're finding, we might start to scale that up so that we can get a good overall impression of the electrical installation condition. Right, mega, love it, absolutely love it.
I think Luke scratched up Lee's one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
The black one?
Yeah.
No way. That limited edition.
Yeah.
That's Lee's pride and joy. If Luke scratched it, he's not going to be happy. So I have a little bugbear, which I've just made this mistake myself, which is never put stuff on customers' furniture, like tools and things. We've got these new mats now. I would usually suggest just putting a dust sheet, but this is like even the better way to do it. So we've got mats for all the guys so that they can put these down, put their stuff on them. Behind every weird and annoying rule, there's usually a horror story. And this whole weird and annoying rule that I have about don't ever put anything on customers' furniture, there is a horror story behind it. Years ago, when I was running my previous company, we changed some light fittings in a customer's house. After the job, they came back to us and said, "You've scratched our oak table." And they sent us a picture of this table which had a massive gouge out of it. And we didn't stand on the table. We didn't put anything on there. Maybe we wouldn't put one or two little tools on there or something, but there was no way that we'd made this damage. But the problem was we had no way of actually proving it. So in the end, they tried to sue us for damaging their table or whatever, and we had to go through the insurance and claim on the insurance so that they could get their oak table French polished. Now the customer was a lawyer, and I think they wanted to get their table French polished, and they decided that we were an easy victim. Let me know in the comments if you've had any horror stories like that with customers. So this is the moment of truth. Is the board neat or not neat? Let us know what you think in the comments. Drum roll. I'm Reuben, who's going to take the cover off.
I think it's pretty neat. Oh dear.
Okay.
Classic.
Tell us what you see, Reuben.
I see a lot of mess. I mean, there's a few spiders laying about, but there also seems to be some sort of dung.
Would that be rodent dung or elephant dung?
Well, it's a very small elephant if it's elephant dung, if I'm being honest.
I wonder what percentage of consumer units in the UK look that messy inside. I'm leaning towards more than 50%, for sure. How many bonding conductors are there in there, Reuben?
There are 2.
So you guessed correctly, so we reckon probably gas and water. Should we go on a little adventure to see where we can find the water bond?
Let's do it.
If you had to guess where it would be?
Probably under a sink in the kitchen.
Let's go there first. So, can you see the main stopcock?
I cannot. Well, I can, but I cannot see the bonding.
So, logically the main bonding conductor should be fairly close to that.
Right.
So the question is it behind the cupboard there, or is it underneath now?
Yeah.
Do you reckon we can take that plinth off underneath and just see? This is when water starts gushing out of the floor. You're like, no! What can we see?
Junction box down there.
Oh, nice. Nice little font. Can you see, is the main incoming water pipe copper?
That is.
Looks like one of those that's lagged in kind of Hessian, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that is probably, the one on the right there is probably the main water pipe. I can't see any evidence of a 10mm earth there, can you?
Nope.
Do the finger test.
Right.
Where you put your hand in a place that you don't know whether you're going to be bitten by spiders and see if you can feel anything.
That feels like a bonding clamp.
Yeah, there we go. So it's hidden away up there. What we can do is disconnect that bonding conductor at that end and then do an R2 test to make sure that we've got continuity from end to end. You know what that means? It's coffee time. So while we pause for a coffee, I wanted to tell you about our new channel partner, SafeStyle. You may have seen me rocking these glasses, and you might have seen the post on our Instagram of me, Lee and Luke doing a bit of a funny pose with them on. SafeStyle produce these amazing sunglasses that are safety quality sunglasses. They're based in Australia, so they know a thing or two about UV protection, but they also know how to make great looking safety glasses with impact safe frames, UV protection, prescription lenses, and neat little side shields for extra protection. You can check out their website to see all the designs and use code ARTISAN10 for 10% discount. It's the rodent equivalent of playing chicken, really. Running around in a consumer unit just waiting to get electrocuted, having a little dump on the bus bar. He's definitely been putting his life on the line, but so far he seems to have survived. Mr. Nagi is back. He just posted on his Instagram story that he's going to be doing content again. So for those of you guys who follow us, who also follow Tom, I know that you guys will be really happy because he puts up some great content. So it's great to hear that he's going to be back on YouTube. So we've got permission from the customer to turn the power off. We're going to do that now. So now the power's off, we're going to do a ZE earth loop impedance test. So it's the external earth fault loop impedance test. Do you know what ZE is?
Well, it's impedance, isn't it?
Impedance, yeah.
Or is it resistance?
Impedance of what? Is it impedance or is it resistance? Let us know in the comments. What are we measuring though, in basic terms?
What ohms? Or
yeah, the ohms of what? The impedance of what?
the earth?
Yeah, the earth fault path loop back to the main transformer essentially. So the external earth fault path loop. You just need to make sure that all bonding conductors are disconnected, and the easiest way to do that in practice is just to disconnect the main earth in this situation. 0.17 ohms. Acceptable or not acceptable?
I have no idea.
Do you know what the maximum required ZE is for a TNCS system?
Is it 0.7?
You're close. For a TNS system,
Oh, okay.
it's 0.8. It tells us here, typical maximum values of earth fault loop impedance, TNCS 0.35, TNS 0.8. So in this case we're a TNCS,
Yep.
so our maximum is 0.35. So we are well within the maximum, so that's good. So this is why you should never write the circuit details in Sharpie. I mean, how on earth are we supposed to read that? I know it's something lights, but I have no idea what on earth that is. I mean, down lights, maybe kitchen lights. No idea. Get a brother label printer, people. Insulation resistance testing. How does he do it?
He usually does a global one from the bus bar, and then if it's a lower reading, then he'll do it individually to pinpoint which one's got a lower reading.
So as John is the EICR king, I think we're going to copy him today, and I'm going to do that myself. So to do a global insulation resistance test where we're basically testing all of the outgoing circuits, we need to have the main switch off obviously, and then we turn all the circuit breakers on, RCD on, everything on, and then we can just test on the outgoing side of one of the breakers. Now I'm just going to do it at 250 volts because I don't want to risk frying anything, and then we'll see what we got. So we've got 0.24 mega ohms, which is a little bit low. If we turn the RCD off, that jumps right up to 175. We've got global reading on that. We're up to 190 now if we hold the button on. That's fine. Let's do neutral to CPC now as well. And then we've got a nice high reading on that. So we can basically say that it's over 200 mega ohms on all of those circuits. And then what we'll do is we'll just do individually on these three with the RCD turned off, because sometimes the RCD can give you a funny reading. Okay, so we've got a low reading on that socket circuit. That's probably because there's a lot of stuff plugged in. We've got a low reading on this socket circuit as well. Again, probably things plugged in. What we need to do really now is just go around and unplug everything and turn off all switch fuse connection units. So let's give that another go now. And we've got a much better reading, yeah, 36, 40. So the readings are much higher now, we're over 50 mega ohms. This is one of my favourite tests. It's what we call the long wander lead test. So we basically got a 50 metre long earth wire essentially that we're using to be able to run around the house and check all the metallic, like all the exposed metal work that should be earthed to make sure that it is earthed. So we're going to wind this out and then we're going to run around and just dab on all the various things around the house. So here's a great example. We've got 0.09 ohms. That's perfect. A very low reading is what we're looking for. And we can just do this on all the metal screws to check that all the back boxes are earthed as well and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so if metal light fittings like that are earthed, that's usually a good sign, because if there's been some dodgy DIY being done and the light fittings haven't been put up properly, that's a classic. A flashback to Luke moment. Do you remember? Do you remember the Luke moment? Yes. Have we got a reading on that? Yep. That's not earthed. It's over 99.9 thousand ohms. No reading there at all. So we can definitely check that one. Yeah. I'm going to disconnect the main bonding conductor for the water at that end. Yep. And then if we dab it on at this end, we should get a reading if I can have that screwdriver. Have you got anything?
No.
Right. I'll go on the other one. Alright, try that. Yeah, that's better. I mean, it's still quite high. Oh, that's better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah.
Maybe there was a bit of rust under it or something.
Because that's the kind of reading that we should be looking for, bearing in mind that it's quite a thick copper conductor. It's got very low resistance.
0.0.
So 0.03. So now that we know which one it is at that end, we can actually label the bonding conductor up at that end.
Yeah. Just doing the same thing that we did with the water bond. Just tapping it this end, tapping it that end, making sure that it's all connected. Hopefully we get a good reading. Let's see. Try onto the screw. It's not good. Yeah, let's go straight onto the copper. See if we can get a better reading. 1.14. That's quite high. As you saw with the last one, it was about 0.03, I think it was. So this is quite a big jump upwards, considering it's not. The board's about here. It's not a long run. Not sure what's going on there.
What reading have you got, Reuben?
1.13.
Yeah, that's too high. Are you on the actual cable going into the clamp?
Yeah.
So you can actually get readings of the resistance per meter of that particular cable and work out exactly what it should be within like milliohms of resistance. But roughly we would expect a very low reading, like 0.02, 0.03, because it's literally just the other side of this wall. So the fact that it's 1 point something ohms, that indicates that something's not quite right. I can't really see what could be wrong with this, so it might just be something with the tester So we're just zeroing the leads again because I think that we're just getting the measurement for the resistance of the leads. See 1.13 Reuben's got there, which is, yeah, so yeah, zeroed, yep.
Okay.
So let's try that again now and see what we got.
Yep, 0.02.
Perfect, that's exactly what we were looking for, great. This symbol indicates that the leads are zeroed. If you press that again, it removes the zeroing on the leads, and that's what had been done accidentally, so that's why we were getting 1.13 ohms. It was just the resistance of the leads. So this thing here is a testing bridge where you can unlink the main earth from the rest of the earths. So you can just literally lift that up and it separates the main earth from all the bonding conductors and stuff, so that when you do your ZE, your external earth fault loop impedance test, you just do that rather than having to actually disconnect the conductor from the terminal. I only just noticed that, but it's quite a nice little feature. So there's this cable in the board which the ends were just taped up and it was just tucked in there. It looks like there used to be a bell transformer under here. So they've removed the bell transformer, they've tucked the wires back into the consumer unit, but they never actually disconnected that piece of cable, which is now redundant. So I've just pulled that out, and that just kind of makes things a little bit safer, and it means that you're not confused by this breaker that you're not sure what it does anymore. I'm going to take this socket off because this is an old socket as well. Try and focus on the older ones, but also focus somewhat on the ones that have been recently changed as well, because DIY can often cause worse damage than the actual original installations that tended to be done by really good, well-trained electricians. Right, I like this. So he's well trained, see.
Nice. 7.6.
Customer says, what time do you have your lunch? So I said 12:30. She said, so I'll put the plates on the table then. So it sounds like they've got some treats in store for us. Our customers are amazing. We're very fortunate with the customers that we have. And we're also fortunate with our channel members and Discord members. So I want to talk to you about the Discord briefly. If you haven't found out, we've got a Discord chat where basically we've built this community, or we're building this community of electricians and people who are interested in electrical work. It's a place where you can discuss all sorts of different topics for apprentices, topics for DIYers. If you've got questions about EV charging, solar, battery storage, or if you're any other trade and you just want to share things, share pictures of your work, it's a place where people who appreciate artisan kind of work can come together and talk about it. So head to that link and join up on the Discord. And if you'd like to become a channel member, you get to be part of a special private section of the Discord where you can talk to me directly and other members of the team about things that are important to you and questions. So that really helps to support the channel as well. Waygos or Wargos or Vargos. What do you call them, Reuben?
I call them Waygos.
Waygos.
Like a sucker.
Like a sucker. So this is what we call the cross connection R1 and R2 test. Basically we're testing the complete loop all the way around. So we're testing down one live conductor, up another CPC, down the other CPC, up the other line. So we're doing a figure of 8 basically all the way around the ring circuit. And then what we can do is with our plug-in tester, we can go around the sockets and test them all and see if we've got the same reading. We should have the same reading at every socket. If it's a higher reading at one socket, it could be that it's a spur off the ring, but otherwise we know that all the sockets are on the ring and that each individual socket is correctly connected and there's no high resistance joints. So we've got 0.59. So we should have the same pretty much at every socket we plug into. Okay, so that's a little bit higher. Sometimes what I try is switching the switch on and off, because sometimes that can make a difference if the switch is a little bit gammy. Yeah. But I mean, it could be that that's a spare actually, because that looks like a fairly new socket. 0.72. And they're not far out, so I think these are probably just fairly standard reading. No earth to the back box. That is shocking.
That's absolutely shocking.
Oh no, it's just Waygos.
They've just left the earth wires loose. So that's an easy fix, but yeah, absolutely shocking. So with little things like this where it's an easy fix, rather than noting it on the report and then quoting the customer to repair it, we'll just repair it immediately. Now it's like, I always say to the guys, if it's an easy 5-10 minute fix, just fix it there and then. We won't charge the customer any extra for it, and it saves like having to condemn the place just for a stupid little thing like that. So we just had some nice lunch made by the customer. We're going to crack on now with this EICR. So we've got to do R1 and R2 testing on the lighting circuits. Now we could do them at the light fittings, but in this case all the light fittings are really awkward to get to. I don't want to risk taking them down and breaking them. We know that we've got earth continuity there anyway because of the R2 long wander lead test that we did. So all we're going to do is get an R1 and R2 reading here instead. So we'll put a link in at the board and then we'll do a test here. Now there are varying ways to do this, but what I like to do is just take the line conductor out at the consumer unit, out of the breaker, and then just pop it in to the earth terminal. Now there are these clever little devices that you can use to just link them up. I've not got one of those today. I should probably get myself one. All the guys have them, but because I'm not on the tools much, I end up giving a lot of my stuff to them and then I forget to order it for myself. So I've got a link out here. Now I'll do the continuity test at the other end. And we've got 0.76 ohms. First of all, crazy amount of downlights. So how do we pick which one we're going to take down? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I guess. If you had to guess which was the end of line on this set. Oh wow, that was decisive.
That one right there.
Okay, what makes you choose that one?
Decisiveness.
If you get this, some serious kudos coming your way. Ooh, okay, they're low volt. They're low voltage? No. Not the end of line. This is interesting, I've never seen these before. So these are QVIS, QVIS. You've got this little thing which just pulls off.
Oh, that's cool.
They look like they are mains voltage, but they are class 2, IP65 230 volts, 6 watts by the look of it. But if you're going from the light switch, yeah. Where's the light switch? The light switch is there. It might be that one. Yeah. So my guess is that one now. You know, it's all very well being very extremely decisive, Reuben, but you've got to also use logic and thinking ability. Yeah. Like half the ceiling falls down when you take these out. Oh no. There is basic insulation visible though. Oh. You know, classic that is. Rubbish. So unfortunately these have not been wired up properly. Now how would you code this, guys? Let me know in the comments. Some people would be really brutal and give it a C2. I'd probably just give it a C3 because it is above a ceiling, so you know it's not really accessible or anything easily. But let me know what you'd give it. I don't know why it would ever be the middle one, but some people. No way! Look at that.
My goodness.
So okay, so how do you think they've done this then? They've
gone in a circle.
They've gone all the way around and then into the middle. Yeah, there we go. Right, now what's the bet that there's no earth continuity here? If they've missed if one earth wire in one of these is not connected properly, then there won't be earth continuity at this downlight. So let's see what we've got. Is it all clear?
Yeah. I mean, it's all on.
They're on?
Yep.
Okay. Well, while it's on, let's do an earth loop test. 103 volts from line to CPC. That means that basically there's not a proper earth at these downlights. So at one of these downlights, the earth's pulled out probably, which is what we kind of thought might have happened. I'm gonna go under the assumption that all of these have been badly terminated, and because there's a lack of earth, although they are class 2, technically it's not the end of the world, the wiring should still be earthed in case a rat chews through them or something. So I'll recommend, I think I'll probably put that down as a C2, and I recommend to the customer that we just re-terminate them all. You know, it's not difficult to do these properly, like, look at that. Takes seconds, probably took them just as long to do them the first time. I wonder if it was kitchen fitters who did it. So the customer's got this bizarre EV charging point that I've never heard of before. It's made by a company called eVolt. It's called the eVolt Home, designed by Sir Control. Got quite an interesting plug on it made by Phoenix Contact. Now I do know that Phoenix Contact make decent stuff, But I'm slightly worried about this charging point. I don't think it's got pen fault protection in it. I think 3 years ago when the customer originally bought this, obviously pen fault protection wasn't really a thing, but now it is. And they've reinstalled it here, but not actually maybe thinking about the need for pen fault protection. So it's got this 40 amp, 30 milliamp RCD built into it. It is a type A RCD, so that's good. Dupka is, I think, a Swedish brand, so that's good at least. But we've got to try and get the cover off this and then see whether we can figure out whether it's got pen fault protection and do our R1 and R2 test. Wow, that's a nice set. Who got you that?
I think that was one of the viewers.
Really?
Wasn't it? A while ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
To whichever viewer bought this for Reuben, thank you. That is very kind, and it's come in handy today. Ooh. The earth conductor comes in here to this terminal block and it goes straight through to the charging point. So there's no way of disconnecting the earth in the event of a pen fault, which means that unfortunately it doesn't have pen fault protection. So the question we have on our minds now is, what code is that? Is it a C3? Is it a C2? I mean, technically the car is parked in the garage. There's no contact with true earth in here. So you could argue that if there was a pen fault and the pen conductor dropped out, they would never be touching the car and touching true earth at the same time, actually touching the ground at the same time, because the car's parked in the garage. But what if they were parked outside and they had the garage door open? Realistically, the chances are very minimal. So I say I will code this as a C3, because it's very unlikely to actually be a safety issue at some point, but it doesn't comply with the current regulations. Now we're going to do the solar survey, which involves hopping the drone up in the air so we can get some aerial photos of the roof. We'll just talk you through the whole process. So we do a bit of a roof inspection. Just make sure there's like nothing untoward with the roof. So that's just my excuse to be able to be a big kid and fly a drone around really and call it work. Now we do the less fun part, which is going up into the loft and just measuring up the actual roof. We want to see which roof is south facing. So south is this way exactly. So this roof is kind of facing southwest, which is fine. And actually, like at this time of the day, look, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got sun across that whole roof, which is really nice. So that's going to be able to produce quite a decent amount of solar. Now we're going to measure the width and the height of the roof to see how many panels we can fit on. 11.3 meters. By the way, this is our tool of the day, the Unilite tape measure. Absolutely love this. It makes this beautiful sound. Sounds like a violin, high quality. It's got a magnet on the end. Head to the link in the description where you can get, I think it's 25% off all Unilite stuff using our special code. 4.2 meters, 4.2 by 11.3. Now there's this extra bit of roof on this side, which is ideal to put some more panels. So we're going to measure this side as well. 4.7 meters, the gutter line. So we've got 4.3 meters, which is exactly the same as what we've got on the other side. It's a bit sunny, so I'm going to get the old SafeStyles on. So I'm going to take a picture of the roof tiles just so that we can get some matching tiles if needed. The customer does actually want an in-roof system if possible, which will mean actually removing a lot of tiles, putting trays and then putting the panels recessed into the roof. But it's always good to just have a record of what roof tiles are on in the first place, so that if there's any alterations to the roof needed, you can send pictures of the roof tiles to the roofer and they can get the correct tiles. Little mouse trap. The mouse got away with the cheese this time. So what we need to check in here is the pitch of the roof, and there's a really easy way to do this. Now I have recently ordered myself one of the Seaward solar survey tools, which is like a £200 surveying tool. Actually, a lot of the stuff you can do on your iPhone, like I said, one of the ones you can do is the pitch. So if you get the level tool on your iPhone and just pop that up like that, you will see you got the pitch there. If we do it from 0 this way, then we go like that, is a 30-degree pitch. So what we're thinking now is, where can we put the inverter and the batteries? Inside the house, there's not really any space to do that, but we could put them up here in the loft. Inverter and batteries could probably all fit on that wall. So we'll take a measurement. We've also got to take the measurements of the joists to make sure that they can actually handle the weight. And we send those measurements off to a structural engineer who will tell us whether the roof is strong enough to support the extra weight of panels. We'll also take some photos inside here so that the roofers can make a plan for actually removing the roof tiles and fitting an in-roof system. So that's it. We have completed an EICR and a solar survey. I hope you've enjoyed joining us today. It was nice to work with Reuben. Yeah, a bit of a rare treat for us to work together.
True.
So I'm very impressed with your knowledge. You're doing really well, an excellent helper, and soon to be an excellent, fully qualified Sparky in the coming years. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions about solar surveys, let us know in the comments, because we're going to be doing a whole day of solar surveys very soon, and we're going to try and answer as many questions as you guys have about that kind of thing. So let us know all your thoughts in the comments below. You may find that there's a little Easter egg right at the end of this video that you want to watch. And why not watch another video of ours that pops up afterwards? But either way, thank you so much for watching us today, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.
Max wants to go on holiday and he's wondering where he should go. So, here we go. There you go, mate. You are going Asia somewhere. You're going in Asia.